there too, and they get a lot of lake enhanced snow. For us, though, we have snow in our forecast for tomorrow. So I know a lot of folks just hear it and they're like, oh my goodness, I feel like we've been shoveling a lot this season. We have been, because we have been seeing quite a bit of snow. Tomorrow morning and then tomorrow evening, we'll see 2 rounds of snow. We'll see anywhere between 1 to 3 inches for us here locally. If you live closer to the thumb, I think closer to maybe 4 inches there by the end of this event. 35 tomorrow. We're nearing 40 Wednesday. We'll see a mix of some rain and snow, and then eventually we'll see much colder air by the end of the week. So we're back to the 20s.
Once you make it through the drive and get home, it is pretty.
For sure.
Yeah. TMZ is next. We'll see you back here at 10, The Edge at 11, and The Pulse at 11:30. Have a good night.
All right, well, we're going to ostracize our guest. John Niyo is officially late for the call-in.
Right off the bat, you're calling him out.
Right off the bat. Whew. Sorry, I've got hair in my lip gloss.
Niyo is so good to us.
Niyo is so good to us. I just texted him TikTok, and you all wanted him. Wait, Kent, stand in front of the camera and do the thing that we wanted you to do it. You know.
Want him to do the Caddyshack.
Come on, do it. Come on out.
Okay.
Come on out, Kent.
Oh, you got the.
Yeah, you can sit down.
This is Kent.
This is Kent. He's usually behind the camera.
Well, we're waiting.
Yay! You did very well. And now here's John Niyo. All right, we're going to bring him in. John Niyo works at the Detroit News. He is an esteemed columnist there, and often I tease Wojo and call Niyo the ¡1 columnist.
Of course.
Are you guys actually #1 and #2?
John, unmute yourself.
Oh, Johnny. Johnny.
Sorry.
Oh, my God.
Yes, of course.
Didn't you go to the University of Michigan?
Yes, of course. So did Wojo, but the #2 columnist, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I'm wearing my Iowa State shirt.
Okay, stand
Wait,
up
was
and show
Michigan
us
a
that.
state
there
when Wojo went?
Go.
There.
There you
So
they're
that's
#3.
That's
Number
the only allegiance that matters, right?
Yeah, #3 in basketball.
That's right.
Well, since you brought it up, tell people why Iowa State. Why is Iowa State?
They're just rolling. They just destroyed Purdue, but that pales in comparison to what Michigan is doing, and I'm sure you guys are talking about that here.
We will.
On the sports side.
But you're from Ames, Iowa, correct?
Well, I grew up in Ames. I grew up an Iowa State fan. I'm Johnny Orr. Former Michigan coach Johnny Orr came to Ames and went to high school with Fred Hoiberg and a diehard Cyclone fan. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Well, we just like to set the stage properly on
Yes,
the
no,
sports
yes,
office.
know where the true allegiances lie. Exactly.
Let everybody know, kind of like the little backstories and what's going on. There's the QR code if you want to jump into the Zoom meeting room and join us. We're here, of course, every night from 7 to 7:30. Greg Canner, our executive sports producer, always happy to have him as part of it. And since we are talking just a little bit college, let's begin with the college football playoff. I know there's a lot of really very unhappy Notre Dame faithful and fans out there today. Many people in the country. Oh, Tom Carr as well? Oh, sorry, Tommy. Yeah, there he is. It ain't right. If it ain't rough, it ain't right.
Maybe you should have beaten Miami.
Yeah. Yeah, well.
Yeah. Or
No.
How I actually read a really great story from Dan Wetzel, and he said, you know what?
Yes.
It isn't perfect, but this is the best thing we got. Tell me where you stand on all of this tonight, Niyo.
Well, I'm a big believer in Dan Wetzel and all of his opinions on college sports. But yeah, no, he's dead right. He's completely right. And one of his biggest gripes all season long was the stupid weekly college football rankings, playoff, CFP. And that just builds the narrative that then sets them up for all of this, outrage. Because if you didn't have Notre Dame artificially at number 9 for the last month, and then suddenly for no apparent reason, to Notre Dame fans at least, drop them down to where they missed the playoffs, then you wouldn't have all of this outrage that you have now. And they only do that obviously for ratings and to generate interest from October, November. You don't need that though with college football. And that's where I think it's a simple fix to some of the problems we're talking about today. Some of the other stuff is, the committee, and just this was a bad year for the committee because none of their rationalizations really seem to make sense to the average fan, I don't think.
But aren't we just happy that we're discussing that Team 13 is the one who's upset rather than Team 5 or 4 or 2 or 3?
But I think they've reached a limit. I mean, all this nonsense about, let's go to 24. No, you're just, and that's where the problem is.
More teams, bigger problems.
Yeah, I mean, by creating this fake problem that Notre Dame got screwed and blah, 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 that, we have to expand the field so that doesn't happen next year. Well, no, you don't. It's 12 is fine. If they want to go to 14 or 16, I understand it, but please don't.
Yeah, and ask
24 and 32 and
ask college basketball. They've got 64 teams, and there's always inevitably
yeah, and they're trying to expand that too. And I get it; it's money driving all of this, but you've already dampened the importance of the regular season as it is. When you start to expand to 16, and certainly when you do 24, you lose a whole lot more of that. And Michigan and Ohio State Michigan would still be in the playoff in a 24-team playoff, and that they're not a playoff team. I'm sorry. So yeah, please just stop with the outrage. That won't happen. But please stop with the expansion.
I've got to say, I'm sure a lot of people share my conviction for this next comment I'm going to make throughout the state of Michigan. I wonder where you stand, being a little more biased and being a guy raised in Iowa, and you understand what Ohio State is pretty fairly. Were you happy to see Indiana beat them?
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was a great game.
It was a great game, and it was just, and you weren't sure exactly because both teams, again, to the earlier point, did it really matter? Not really. They both had a bye. They're both in the top 4. But that was a great game, and yeah, it's an amazing story. Indiana going from just sort of the laughing stock in the Big Ten for all those years to now on top and doing it. I mean, Cignetti with his sort of swagger, it's entertaining. I mean, you can get, if you're rubbed the wrong way by the way he acts, that's fine. But it's fun to see Indiana in a position to sort of rub it in and talk trash and back it up the way they have. But that's a really good team. I thought that was the best team in the Big Ten, to be honest.
Yeah,
that defense is underrated.
Fun.
They did that to Oregon. They did that to Ohio State. Like, neither team had really given up any sacks, any pressure on their quarterbacks all season long until they played Indiana, and then Indiana just kind of wrecked them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's a mix of jealousy over Indiana because Indiana's
Why
the
can't
same
we do that at Maryland?
football level of Maryland. They're the same. I mean, they were the same.
Yeah.
They were the team that would get beaten up every year.
Yeah.
You wished you could get one win over a Michigan or Ohio State or Penn State, and they found the coach, and it makes it seem like any school can do it.
Yeah.
Go from a basketball school, which
Yeah.
is what Indiana is, to a football school. So I loved seeing it, and I was rooting for them. But I was jealous.
Yeah, I think it does provide, though, a really great story, and it also gives other teams, I think, hope that, you know what,
Yeah.
we too can do that, and in, I don't want to say short order, but it's not going to take as long as you think, especially in this day and age with perhaps...
Yeah, and his was a unique case where he brought 20+ guys from James Madison with him, but that was last year. This year he did it again. They reloaded in the portal. They got one of the best quarterbacks in the country in the portal, and that's, to me, everybody's screaming and yelling about, well, NIL is it's going to be haves and have-nots. Well, you're allowed to be a have. In a school like Indiana has money to be a have, and whereas before it was just a select 8 or 10 teams were the teams that could be that. Well, no, any team is capable of doing it if you're going to invest in your program and then invest it wisely the way they have. And so I think that's actually sort of a counter argument to the NIL is ruining the sport.
Yeah, let me ask you this. I mean, you were in East Lansing, right, when they introduced Fitz the other day. And it's funny, I was having a little text thread today with Jason Hillman and Stoney and Wojo, and we were talking about our beloved friend, Jamie Samuelson, and we were like, how do we think Jamie would feel about Fitz in East Lansing?
Yeah.
But, he's a great guy, though, right? He's gonna shake some trees.
It's a perfect fit for Michigan State, and I think he would have agreed with that too. It really is, and you can just see it. The way he's already sort of embraced this idea of what he's going to be, riding shotgun with Tom Izzo in terms of
Izzo's never retiring now.
Oh yeah, I know. Now he's staying until he's 100. Now that he's got Fitzgerald next to him, but no, I mean he's at the basketball game, gets on the mic and screaming at the mic, telling everybody to get on their feet. He's at the hockey game pounding on the glass and ringing the cowbell with the student section. I mean, he's embracing all of it, which, Jonathan Smith, I like him. I think he's a good football coach, but he was never the sort of guy who was going to do that sort of stuff. And at a school like Michigan State, I think you have to, and it certainly resonates with, that alumni base and that fan base. And it's absolutely needed after what they've been through the last, 5-6 years with that football program.
Yeah, you can be boring if you win.
Yeah,
But if you're not winning, then that gets old real quick.
No, and in the same sense of like Signetti when he comes in there, Google me and all that nonsense when he got there. But you have to sell yourself and you have to sell your program these days, unless you're already on top. I mean, Ryan Day doesn't have to sell himself necessarily or his program, but everybody else does, and he's already starting to do that. You can see.
Hey, let me ask you quickly,
Yes.
and I would love if you could stay with us after the break in a couple minutes and maybe talk a little pro sports after this. But I do want to ask you one more college football question. Where Michigan is going, where Michigan finished, you see a variety of complaints and message board things. I mean, it's nothing anywhere, I think, in prominence yet about complaints of Sharon.
I think it's in prominence, but yeah.
Okay, give me your sense then.
I think it's fair. I mean, look, it's when you've been as high as they were 2 years ago, and then last year was such a dreary watch for fans immediately after that national title. Yes, you salvaged it with the Ohio State win and Alabama win at the end, but you didn't beat anybody good this year. You won 9 games. That's certainly nothing to sneeze at, but it's going to take more than that. Especially, again, when you're spending the money that they're spending and when you've got the number 1 recruit in the country and everything, all of that comes with the expectations of something more than 9-3 in the Citrus Bowl. So, and then when you add in all the other sort of, watching that Ohio State game, in addition to, man, there's a gulf here in terms of talent on this field. I just thought there was a lot of slippage that was visible from the program all around, just in terms of discipline and everything else. And I think that's one thing that, people didn't give Harbaugh enough credit for, just sort of the way everybody did the right thing on the field. you can. We won't
For
get
sure, I was
into
going to
cheating
say
and all that stuff, but you know what I mean. And, they
stuff,
were
yeah.
disciplined in the way they played the game, and you're seeing that slip a little bit the last 2 years, and so I think that's another area where I think fans notice too.
How about your number one Buckeyes? I mean, your number one Buckeyes. What am I saying?
Number one
It's
Wolverines.
your number one Wolverines. In
I'm going to be
basketball.
there tomorrow. I haven't
I'll
seen
be
them.
there.
But I like you. I saw them play at
Little Caesars
LCA against Wake Forest.
Yeah, which was touch and go.
That was the one game they could have
Which
lost.
seems
Yeah.
like another lifetime ago because now they're beating everybody by 40 points, including Gonzaga, which is just unreal to do what they did there. No, they are a machine right now, and you could see it even in that game we watched, Wake Forest game. They can just dominate teams physically with the size they have in that front court, and there's just not many teams that can handle that. And Villanova's not one of those teams either. So
Good.
Kevin
Put
Willard
a hurting on
That's
Kevin
right.
Willard.
I know that you're very eager to see a 40-point win there, Canner,
Well,
against your
I
Kevin Willard,
expect
right?
Michigan. Well, this weekend they play Maryland, so I expect Michigan to beat Maryland by 50 this weekend. But at least if you're going to do that, beat Villanova by 40 or something.
Smack on Willard. All right, Johnny,
Yes.
we're gonna take a break here, but come back with us and we're gonna talk just a little bit of Lions, and for sure we've got to talk Pistons because that's a crazy, crazy run. All right, we're on the Sports Office here on Fox 2 on this Monday night. Stick with us. All right, back on the Sports Office with John Niyo,
Neo's still
the
here.
number one columnist at the Detroit News. Number one, of course, Bob Winowski's number two.
You can go 1A and 1B if he
He can
wants.
go. All right. I just love to needle him. He's delightful to needle. And he needles Canner too, so I've always got to get him back.
Hey.
Let me ask you this quickly before we talk a little Pistons basketball. The winter meetings kicked off today down in Orlando, 4 days. There's a lot of attention in Detroit here on the Tarek Skubal situation. How much have you had your ear to the ground, and to what extent do you think that we will actually hear something this early? I personally don't think they're going to make a decision.
No, I don't. No, this is one. Well, I don't think we're going to hear anything this early. partly because I don't think he's going to get traded. I just don't know that there's going to be the offer, the so-called Godfather offer that comes along for a guy who's just got a year left before he hits free agency. And there are certainly some teams out there that are eager to try, but I just, maybe they set the bar too high for any of that. That's what I think. We're not going to hear anything from Scott Harris before it happens. That's clear. He's just going to keep saying the same thing over and over, that he has to listen and blah, blah, blah. But
what is the percentage and what is the chance in your mind that he stays here, that they sign him, and that he wants to be here, and that they can make it work with Boris pulling the strings?
Yeah, I'd say like less than 10%. I just
maybe go 0.02%.
Yeah, right.
The playoffs.
Yeah, I just don't see a world where that probably happens, because that's just the way Scott Boras operates, and it's not been the way that Chris Ilitch seems to operate. I mean, we had that.
He's not his dad, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's not his dad, but even his dad wasn't his dad until the very end there, in terms of that last 6-8 year stretch where he was desperate to win that World Series. And I don't think we're going to see that again in this town with this baseball team and this ownership. But I just don't know that there's the Mets, are they desperate enough to compete and try to overtake the Dodgers somehow? I guess that's possible. Yeah, I don't. Maybe there's this. You always wonder with guys like this, and we've seen it with Ohtani in the past or whatever. Is there just some secret team lurking, whether it's Toronto or who knows? Take your pick.
That would be awful to see him in a Blue Jays uniform.
Yeah, right. That's just sort of quietly going to come up with the sort of package that entices Scott Harris to say, go ahead and do it. To me, I think you got to try to win with him this year. But to do that, you do have to go get another high-end starter, frontline starter that can be your 1A or B guy after Skubal's gone and a year from now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, and there's definitely going to be a trickle down at this point once moves start being made, because a lot of teams aren't going to be, they could be more desperate a couple weeks from now when some guys get signed and they're saying, okay, maybe we got to up our offers. That could happen. But what a gamble, though, for the Tigers just to say, all right, we're going to try to win with him this year, and then you could end up with a draft pick at the end.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, it's a lose-lose situation. If you don't think you're going to keep him, it's a lose-lose situation, because if you trade him, I mean, it's not going to be anything that fans accept in terms of the compensation. No matter what it is, fans are not going to agree with that move. And so if you're Scott Harris, do you do that for the future of the franchise? Maybe. But, fans are not. They're going to revolt if you trade them.
Absolutely.
Well, and the Brewers, though, a couple years ago when they traded Corbin Burns, it worked out for them because necessarily what they got back for him, but they still built a team. They went to the playoffs again. They're in the hunt, but it's hard to do when you're giving up such a big piece.
Let me shift gears. Let's shift gears because we have, what does that mean? 3 minutes? Oh, okay. I never understood this tapping thing down below. Oh, okay.
See, we're learning things.
Gotcha. Okay. The Pistons. Let's talk about the hottest team in Motor City right now. They've won 4 of the last 5. They're 19-5, which is the 3rd best start in franchise history. They went 20-4 in '96. They went 21-3 in '05. This is a team that I've got to tell you, John, is so much fun to watch. And I love JB Bickerstaff, and I love so many of the guys and the way they fit in and play. What's the biggest difference, in your opinion, about this team this season than the one that we saw last year?
The defense so far, 20 plus games in now. The defense, I mean, they're they're 2nd or 3rd in the league in defense, and it's just sort of night in and night out. Between Stewart and, that combo, the big lineup that we didn't think was necessarily going to work in this town, it's working. And Isaiah Stewart's been a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Asar Thompson's an all-defense kind of guy. Mm-hmm. But no, that's, to me, the effort they play with on the defensive end is the constant. And then you've just got depth, and you've got, it's going to be a problem, actually, for JB trying to figure out in the next month, what's this rotation going to look like in January, February, March down the stretch? Because right now, I mean, just played 12 or 13 guys again the other night. And he's going to have to, when they get off this, they got this 4 to 5 day break here. I think you'll see Ivy playing more, and then you'll start to see a couple of those guys, see their roles minutes reduced a little.
As they sit at the top spot in the Eastern Conference, do you think it's sustainable all the way through?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, the Knicks are kind of, the Knicks and them are the teams to beat. I think Cleveland will be there too. But, because they play hard and, injuries obviously play a role in all of this. But they've got the depth to carry through. And we'll see. They've got 8 out of 10 on the road coming up after Friday night.
Which will be fun. I can't wait to see
West Coast playing.
Yep,
So,
I can't
we'll
wait to see him go out west.
But and look, they've got all the flexibility more flexibility than anybody in the league. So come January, February, Trajan Langdon can make some moves too.
Yeah.
But do you want the fear, I would think, is everything is that they're so gelled together, they're playing so well. If you make a trade to get some named person in and they could mess up the chemistry.
And I don't think, Trajan Langdon is clearly in a wait and see mode. And I think he's got another month or more to sort of see what he thinks this team is capable of. But it doesn't have to be a massive trade this year. It can be, add a shooter, a 3-and-D guy is probably what they need. And that's certainly available without giving up the farm.
Well, thank you, Johnny Niyo. I will see you,
Thank you for having me, guys.
tomorrow evening on campus in Ann Arbor for a hell of basketball game. Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
It should be fun.
I'm so excited just to see the way that Michigan and Michigan State are both playing this.
I want to see sad Kevin Willard, please.
Yes. We'll go to his press conference and taunt him for you, Canner.
Hate that guy.
All right. Thanks, Johnny. Have a wonderful evening. Go Cyclones.
We'll see you guys.
All right.
All right, that's John Niyo from the Detroit News. News.com is where you can read him. He's also on our roundtable every other Sunday evening. You can watch him there as well. It's time for a break. According to Vito, we'll come back and give you some final thoughts on the Lions when we come back after this. If you've got a call, hey, we've got time for you still. Make a prediction. We'll put it on the board.
A bit of time.
The Sports Office on Fox 2. Welcome back to the Sports Office. Anybody in the Zoom room there tonight, Thomas?
You got Motorola?
All right, Motorola. Give us 10 seconds here. We
Oh,
got
boy.
you real quick. Hi, Mr. Motorola.
Unmute yourself.
You got 30
Unmute
seconds.
yourself.
We're almost out of time. It was a good try.
Will you call us tomorrow? We can't hear you at all.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah, we
20
got
seconds. Hey, the Lions control their own destiny for
Don't
the
they?
For a wild card berth. So just win out.
People were
Simple.
freaking out yesterday when I was saying, my friends, so many of them were texting me saying, who are we rooting for tonight? And I said, the Packers,
Yeah.
because we want the Bears to lose, but then we need the Bears to lose 2 more, and now we need the Packers to lose 2 more, and we need the Lions to win all 4, and they're going to make it to the playoffs. All right, we're going to see you tomorrow night. It's the Sports Office on Fox 2. Thanks for being with us.
Welcome to a new week of all things people, power, and politics, and we're off to a busy one. This is The Pulse. I'm Ruparaj. We're glad you're making us your home for political news each and every night, whether you're streaming us live at 7:30 or watching us at 11:30 p.m. So much going on. Buckle up. We're unpacking it all for you right here. We're diving into the Motor City's transition with Bridge Detroit's Malachi Barrett. Mayor Mike Duggan will be out. Mayor-elect Mary Sheffield in, taking over. We're talking about the challenges that she faces next. And the debate over those AI data centers is front and center once again. Environmental and health concerns